Welcome back to an all-new episode of Tiger Tally. I'm Malia Smith. Thank you for joining us today. Auburn's men's basketball completed a season sweep against Alabama for the first time since 2009. The team traveled to Tuscaloosa for the Saturday night game at Colum Coliseum. The Tigers made 15 three-pointers to beat Alabama 82-77. Auburn point guard Jarrett Harbor was named SEC Freshman of the Week for the second time this season after scoring 14 points against Alabama and 21 against Tennessee this past week. Next up for the Tigers, the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Auburn returns home to host them Tuesday at 8 p.m. The women's basketball team is playing out a tough road game stretch, having 4 of its 5 games away from home. After going 1-1 to begin the road game stretch, the Tigers return to the Auburn Arena Tuesday night for a match against Mississippi State.
Auburn University women's basketball falls to number 4 Mississippi State last Thursday night in the Auburn Arena. In the first half, the Tigers struggled both offensively and defensively, finishing 39-24. In the second half, Auburn came out strong, finding a rhythm.
Yeah, I thought our girls made a great effort when we were down by 21, down by 21, and cut it to 7 points. I mean, that's just a uphill battle to come back, and it used a lot of effort and energy.
This run was led by Montgomery, who finished with 17 points and 2 three-pointers to spark an 18-9 run in the third quarter. Firking finished the game with 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists.
It's effort at the end of the day. That's how we play. That's who we are. And I think
Auburn Tigers will be back in action in the Auburn Arena February 12th, hosting the Georgia Bulldogs. In Auburn, Taylor Harrison and Chris Hubble, Eagle Eye Sports.
And just 3 days later, Auburn was back on the road to go up against Texas A&M. However, they lost that game 66-61. The Tigers finish out the last away game of the week when they take on South Carolina Thursday. Gymnastics was back in action at the Auburn Arena Friday night. The number 17 Tigers had 14 season-high individual scores against number 24 Arkansas. However, the Razorbacks would come away with the victory in another close-scoring meet for the Auburn Tigers. The Auburn gymnastics team has yet to win a meet so far this season, even after putting up a season-best numbers. The team looks to bounce back in a meet against Oklahoma on Friday. Auburn's men's tennis senior Max Henningdales is heating up the court on Sunday. He posted his best win of the season, defeating the nation's 9th-ranked player Christopher Eubanks by a 6-4, 6-4 score. Despite that big advantage for Auburn, they were not able to defeat the number 23 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, losing in a close 4-3. Auburn football finished 9th in the nation in this year's signing class, marking the 5th straight year Auburn has had a top 10 recruiting class. Auburn's spring game is April 8th. Get a new look at these newly recruited players and Auburn's new offensive coordinator, Chip Lindsey. Jordan-Hare Stadium will be getting a new look to it over the next 2 years. The Auburn University Board of Trustees approved the stadium renovation project, which is set to be completed before the 2018 football season. The project will create a new recruiting lounge and football locker room in the southwest corner of the stadium. Because the new project is a standalone structure, Athletic Director Jay Jacobs says construction will be able to take place throughout the 2017 season. History was made on Super Bowl Sunday. Plus, one former Auburn basketball player is in the midst of a feud with LeBron James. We have all of that and more coming up after this break, so you don't want to miss it. We'll be right back.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
In one of the most thrilling finishes in Super Bowl history, we finally have a winner in Houston's NRG Stadium. The New England Patriots defeated the Atlanta Falcons 34-28 in the first overtime game in Super Bowl history. Trailing 28-3 in the third quarter, the Patriots made a furious comeback to capture their 5th Super Bowl title. Quarterback Tom Brady won his record-breaking 4th Super Bowl MVP, completing 43 out of 62 passes for 466 yards, a record for attempts in passing yards. Quarterback Tom Brady was named the most valuable player of the Super Bowl last night. This marks the 4th time that he has won the award, setting an all-time record in Super Bowl. He completed 43 out of 62 passes for 466 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. The pass attempts and passing yards are also Super Bowl records. The annual NFL Honors held Saturday night, celebrating another year of excellence. Award winners included Dak Prescott, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Joey Bosa, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jason Garrett, Coach of the Year, Khalil Mack, Defensive Player of the Year, and Jordy Nelson, Comeback Player of the Year. Matt Ryan took home the most prestigious award, winning Most Valuable Player for the first time in his career. He also took home the Offensive Player of the Year. The debacle between Charles Barkley and LeBron James continues. The Hall of Famer criticized Cleveland Cavaliers star after James publicly told the media about management's inability to sign better players to the roster. Barkley also said that LeBron's comments were whiny and inappropriate. James then retaliated by saying, "He's a hater. What makes what he says credible because he's on TV? I'm not going to let him disrespect my legacy like that." Coming up next, our own J.J. Jackson goes one-on-one with Auburn baseball head coach Butch Thompson to talk about the upcoming season. You're watching Tiger Tally on Eagle Eye, Channel 6.
2 weeks away from the start of the Auburn baseball season, J.J. Jackson here with Auburn baseball coach Butch Thompson. Coach, we spoke with you about a year ago. 12 months from now, how would you say you've adjusted to Auburn? How would you describe these past 12 months here?
Well, the first thought I have is I told our players day one that it's going to be okay. And then we break for the Christmas break, and I tell them I love them. So there's been a lot of growth, a lot of trust, a lot of implementation, a lot of adjustments to creating our identity with the baseball program, but a lot of growth.
What would you say is the biggest difference in preparing for year one as opposed to preparing for year two?
I would say time to be able to capture a fall practice. I think our staff, we really designed a really good fall practice, and I think our players were excited about it. You know, coming into August 16th when school started, we had 20 new players. So we have a 35-man roster as we stand today, just 2 weeks away, but 20 to 35 will play in their first Auburn game coming up. So, you know, we've been to Fort Benning, we've done some extra practice stuff, we've done some 6 a.m., but all of these things that we've challenged ourselves with, that we've made an investment together, and I think that's helped grow the team. 20
new players, and a lot of those are part of this freshman class. What can we expect out of this freshman class this season? Well, we know we have a whole new infield, and there actually will be the junior college. We have 12 high school players that are new and 8 junior college players, and we know at second, short, and third, if we started this weekend, those would be new players, and that they would be coming from junior college, which is still a step up from junior college to SEC play. And we know that 20 of the players that are incoming that are new, 10 of those are pitchers. So trying to create or overcome some challenges from last year of infield defense and definitely pitching depth. You know, we made a huge commitment to, as Skip Bertman would call it, pitching, dominate the routine play, and timely hitting. And we've done it in our recruiting efforts. Now we've done it with the whole fall of practice with that focus. How does that play here in year two? Talking about pitching and, you know, speaking about that freshman class, Davis Daniels, a guy who's coming in, was named one of your starters out of fall camp. What can we expect out of him this season? Yeah, he gets a real opportunity because of his skill. So if you just look at the top, you know, if it takes you 8 to 10 pitchers to really navigate through a 56-game collegiate schedule, pitching depth's important, and he definitely possesses, we think, and I think our players do, everybody in the organization believes he possesses a top 5
as far as stuff, electricity, or just his arsenal is at the top of the food chain. And we're going to rally behind him. He needs to know he's got backup. He needs to know that it's 9 versus 1. But his skill level gives him an opportunity to whereas it doesn't really matter his age. His skill set gives him an opportunity. And we got a couple of young players, position players, one in the middle of the infield. Will Holland, we're so excited about a super utility infielder, so athletic, such a great, exciting future. We got to give him opportunity early. Connor Davis is another freshman that I would mention at first base. We just think he's going to have power to all fields, especially the opposite way. He's a quarterback in high school at Blessed Trinity, which is just a phenomenal, comes from a great athletic background. And these 3 young guys, one, there's a need, but 2, they just seem so advanced in their skill. But we have others, and that's what's neat about once you get to a season. No matter how someone's practiced, you can't wait to see who's going to step up and be a gamer. So I can't wait to see that defined this spring.
And then talking about that pitching staff, Keegan Thompson's a guy that's coming back from the injury. What can we expect out of him this season?
Well, I know the sky's the limit. I know I believe in him and trust in him, and I know he has a track record. He missed last year, but before that, as an opponent, I just always thought that Keegan was one of the best pitchers. How he handled himself, his gamesmanship when he was on the mound. You felt like you had an unbelievable chance to win. I just can't wait for him to take the mound, and our team and our fans and our program feel that way again. He's worked extremely hard. His body's changed. He's been healthy for us. And right now he's really in line to be back and make a either opening day start or an opening weekend start for sure. And then him and Casey Mize, they are probably our top freshman last year, who's a sophomore. Casey's just continued to get better. He went off to the Cape Cod League and got to play with some of the best players in the country and grow his game. And I think him and Keegan, they're the throwing partners every day. They're kind of demonstrating this iron sharpens iron, where I think they're making each other better every day. And, man, we feel like over the course of a weekend, if you got a real starter that everybody thinks has got a chance to go out and win, I think that helps everything.
We spent a lot of time talking about the young guys, but this senior class seems more experienced than previous years here at Auburn. What kind of leadership does that group bring to this team?
Yeah, a great point, because Bo Decker was coaching first base and almost like a student assistant in a red shirt type scenario. I think he got to step back out of the frame. We were so loaded in the outfield last year with Greer, Palacios, Ebert, played some out there, Bergreen. With those guys gone, I think Bo saw as an opportunity to make a bigger impact. And it's not just an impact of getting on the field and actually getting to play the game. It's an opportunity to lead. He's on a legacy team instead of captains. We call it a legacy team. And you have Bo Decker, you have Blake Logan, who was our most improved player from the fall. I thought his fall was better than his spring. Those 2 guys are going to give us a lot of leadership. And to have leadership at the catching position, I can't tell you how important that is. In the outfield, J.J. Schaefer is another one that's just a great leader. And I think we have, maybe by example, but Luke Jarvis, junior college shortstop from San Diego. Luke has just been one of our most consistent people every day. And it's probably more by example, but just putting him at shortstop, I think, is just settled, and you can just see everybody's game better with just the way he carries himself. So we do have a ton of leadership on this club that I'll keep pushing him to stay out front and try to lead.
That outfield you talked about last year, Palacios and Greer in the big leagues now, and Schaefer coming back this season. Who are other guys in the outfield that we could expect to step up?
Yeah, we feel like it's a good problem. I thought last year, after we constructed a lineup about the middle of the year, one of our challenges is once we got into the middle of a ball game or you got to the back end of the game and you wanted to make changes, there really were not, if you had a great left-handed pitcher come in, who can we go to that's right-handed, or vice versa? Who can run and steal a base in this situation? We just didn't have a lot of moves. So now that we see these as good problems after being in that situation, to where you got a J.J. Schaefer that can steal a base, get a bunt down, go in defensively because he's really good defensively. Jeremy Johnson was a guy that played behind Anthony Greer every rep last year as a red shirt. So now he's ready to go and start his career after a year of working and watching. couple of left-handed hitters, which we're excited to have. Jonah Todd has played great in this preseason. I really look forward to seeing how he does these last 2 weeks heading into the first game. But he's a left-handed bat. Bowen McGuffin from Gulf Coast Community College, another left-handed option. Much like Bo Decker and Keegan Thompson being out for a year and coming back, Sam Gillikin has come back. You know, he's not only an Auburn graduate, now he's working on his MBA, but he's come back to play his final season. That's another guy that has SEC experience and adds something to what we're doing. So that outfield is logjam, and we're just telling our guys to try to take care of the process every day, as coach speak
right
is always going on. But the players will make the lineup out at the end of the day, and we have more depth at the outfield we had last year, even though the top end outfield was pretty good last year.
When fans are sitting in Plainsman Park this season, they'll notice a new video board out there. What are your thoughts on that, the addition to the park, and other renovations that have happened this season?
I just, it's an opportunity for me to say thank you for the people that supported our program as we're trying to build and be a better version of ourselves every day. I thank you to Jay and our athletic department and Tigers Unlimited. We work really hard, the opportunities to keep growing our program, but we're going to see a connection with the video board to our fans. We've put in, I think, 3,800 chairback seats, and the new LED lighting is going to be pretty neat to go. So I just out on the park the last couple of days and being around the field at practice, it's one of the most beautiful, timeless ballparks, and we've really made some adjustments that really just brighten it back up, and I think our fans are going to love that. And for our fans, who really stood in the gap for us. I think our season tickets are up like 10%. We want to continue to encourage everybody to keep coming on board. We need you now more than ever, but I think we're at an unbelievable spot of support, and that Auburn family has really stood behind this baseball program, and I tip my hat to them.
A lot of people are very excited about the season being 2 weeks away. Coach, finally, last year you told us a Les Brown quote about aiming high with expectations. So I'll ask you this to close it out. What are your expectations for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I've really tried to get this team, I think I mentioned it earlier, just be the best version of ourselves. But I wouldn't want to come to work every day, and I wouldn't want a player to want to have a coach that didn't think you could aim as high as you possibly can. I do have a dream of seeing an Auburn team in that uniform running out on the field at TD Ameritrade Park. That's kind of what gives you the passion and purpose to get up every day. So we'll never stop that. And I don't think I've hidden that or put that away. I share that with my players because they need to understand that we got to attack every day to get – we don't want to be where we're at. We have to understand that we're leaving a legacy because we represent Auburn University, but we must maintain a vision at the highest level because I believe in Auburn that much. I believe in our resources. I believe in our tradition. I believe that people that are going to drive from Birmingham or Atlanta or even further away to come watch us, they want us to aim as high as we possibly can. So we have that vision. No matter where we're at today, we have that end vision in mind.
In Auburn, here with Coach Butch Thompson, I'm J.J. Jackson. You're watching Eagle Eye TV.